with Comax Gaming, and welcome to another SourceMod tutorial. Now, today we're actually going to do the menu thing, just pawn the item that we want, and I don't know if we're going to actually do anything else. Maybe not, maybe, I don't know, it depends on the time. Okay, so, last week we started doing this, and I explained how you can send the item from here to here using the item position that is sent from the menu. Now you can actually go click ouch on the tutorial, on the previous tutorial, which is I don't know something. It's gonna say part, I don't know, whatever. You can click on the playlist and all the videos are there, really helpful for you. Okay, so here we're getting the position from the position of the item. We're getting the actual item itself, and we are storing this string because it's a string in here in the variable item, which is going to contain the ID of the actual item. Because if we go down here, yes, as you can see, we are using the index with this for loop, looping through each one of these and then storing the name and the price of the item in the variable called items here. Actually we're doing that here, and here we're just erasing, like we're clearing the array just in case. Yeah. Alright, so we want to spawn. These are going to be props. We're not going to do trails here because, like I said last week, we would have to recode this from scratch. Like we would be able to leave some stuff, but most of these stuff is going to get deleted, most likely because it's a different type of entity, like a trail and a prop. So, but you can definitely do it. Like following this, you can definitely do trails or anything. Like it's gonna be specific or one thing. It's not gonna be like, I don't know, global for any entity you want, because we made it this way, not that way. So yeah, you can use this, I don't know, for a building server. Like I don't know, that's revolutionary in quotations marks. But yeah, whatever. Let's get going. Now we're gonna add an else statement here. Now we're gonna say actually else if menu action. Let's copy these. So if the action was actually not select, and I think it was end. Yeah. So if instead of selecting an item we actually click on exit, then we want to actually close the menu. So we're gonna close the handle, because the menu that is being shown is actually stored in this variable right here in the handle. So if we actually close the handle, it's gonna close everything, and it's not gonna leave anything open, and yeah, it won't cause any bugs or stuff like that that we really want to avoid. Anyways, once we get the item, like here we're not gonna check if the item actually exists, because we're checking that here. Like if we're saying if the string does not equal nothing, meaning that if items like if the name of this item does not equal 0 or nothing, why did it say 0? If the name of the item does not equal nothing, then we want to continue. In other words, if the item does exist, then let's continue. So in here we're not going to check for that, like it said, so let's get coding the spawn. And for that we're gonna okay, there we go, spawn entity. And we actually want to send the item string to int. Actually wanna work with integers since it's way faster. I'm gonna explain this in a second once I code everything, because you may be like, what the yeah, you probably are like that, so give me just a second. and ID. Actually, let's name this item ID for the sake of your understanding. Alright, so what I'm saying here is basically once I get the item, the ID of the item, since this is an ID, and only because this is an ID, it's going to contain only numbers. However, we cannot like assign that value to an integer, because this function gets only a string. Because normally you would type a string, like, I don't know, car1, car2, or I don't know, item strawberry, item I don't know, whatever you put in there. Sometimes you put a string, sometimes you don't. I don't, basically, because I just want to send the ID and then convert it to an integer and work with that integer in here, in this function that we are creating right now. Why? Because it's faster, it's easier. Like, we're not working with strings, you know, you have to say if string equals and all that stuff. We would have to convert it to an integer 80,000 times if we don't create a variable. So yeah, it's way faster, guys, believe me. And remember, we're only converting this to an integer because this is numbers. We're only using numbers here, and you're gonna see this when I actually try when I test this plugin in the server. So, public spawn entity item ID. Here we're gonna say, alright, actually, I'm gonna show you how to make a boolean function. So this is actually gonna return true or false. I think it's boolean. Is it bool or boolean? I always forget for SourceMod. I think it's bool. So basically what I'm saying here is, okay, create a function that is going to return true or false. We're going to return true if the entity was successfully created and false if it was not. So here we're going to add the spawned, and in an else statement we're going to say fail to spawn. We can do that here or there, doesn't matter. And then we can print the error to the console actually. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually doing this to teach you guys how a boolean function works. You don't have to do it. It's actually better if you don't do it, but whatever. Whatever. So we get the ID of the item that we selected, right, from here, and now we want to actually get the like. Oh. Yeah. I forgot something. Duh. I forgot to set the model. I just realized that I forgot to set the model. So we're gonna add another thing right here. And yeah. So we have the model, praise, and name, and here we're gonna make some really fast changes. Don't worry, it's nothing hard. Here in temp string we want to actually set this to 3, and here to 3. Why? Because now we have 3 of these and not 2 like before. And also we want to actually oops, there we go. What I did here is I just, you know, like before, since we have 3 of these, we need 3 of these, right? Because we have 3 of these. We have name, price, model. So in here we are breaking for each one of these, name, price, model, and here I'm setting this one to name, price, and the model. So everything is being stored in the variables. So if we go, now that we have to go up here, I'm going to set that to 3 like the other one, and here the model I'm not gonna add to the other ones because it's really not necessary. All work the same now, so yeah. We don't have to change anything from here because I'm only adding one more value. That's the best thing of multi-dimensional arrays, and then you can add another value, and you really don't have to modify anything else. But that it's very simple. It's very easy to do. So yeah. Now that we actually have this correct, we want to say okay. We're gonna create a new ent equals create entity by name, and it's actually gonna be a prop dynamic. I hope it's spelled that correctly. If I didn't, please correct me. Yeah, what I'm saying is just create the entity called prop dynamic. Prop dynamic is an entity that already exists. I did not create that. It's a prop, basically. It's just a model. Yeah. So create the entity, and now we have to get the model actually. But before doing that, I want to actually set something else, but I forgot the name of the function, so BRB. Alright guys, I always forget about this function. I don't know why. I always forget the name. It's dispatch key value. I always forget the name. I don't know why, but yeah. So once we have this create entity by name, wanna dispatch key value, and first of all, actually wait a minute. Before actually doing that, we want to actually spawn the entity, just in case. So we're saying if where the hell did the cursor go? If ent is not equal -1, and dispatch spawn. I don't know. There we go. I'll explain this in a second. Wait. There we go. Alright. This, if the entity does not equal -1, sorry, this is to check if the entity actually exists, as well as all of the other ones, because no entity in the whole game can have an index lower than 0, I believe, or -1. They cannot have the value of -1. I think they can have a value lower than 0, but not -1. I don't know. But they never equal -1 unless the function returned -1, which means the entity was not created. So basically what I'm saying is, if this returned a -1, then the entity was not created, then we don't want to continue. Basically I'm saying the same with this, and here I'm checking if the entity is actually valid. So if it's in the game and if it's actually like spawned. Yeah. It's kind of tricky, you know. Most of the functions do the same thing, but in a different way. Think of it that way. So yeah. Now ent here, it's asking for the key name. So here we wanna, since we're creating a prop, we wanna set the prop model. In a second, I just type that, and then the value, which I'm gonna type value. So, alright, so the key value, or the key for prop dynamic to set the model is model. Like, no surprises there. And then, whoa, no, wait a second. I'm breaking the monitor. There we go. I don't know what I touched, but it was very weird. And then the value is gonna be actually the prop name. When you script, basically you do endfire, which is that's the same like this, but before the add output, that's the same as this, right? Ignore that. Just keep, like, look at this. It says model and then the value, key value, right? This is the key and this is gonna be the value, like this one here. Instead of having a comma, here we have a space, which is the same. So here we say the model, and here we want to put the value, and the value is obviously gonna be items 2, right? Because we are saving the model here in items I2. 2, right? Because we're getting it from here. So we're gonna copy this and paste it here. And maybe we're saying, okay, we don't have an I, right? Because I is gonna be the item ID here. Like if this is 0 here, it's gonna be 1 there, 0 there, 1, 1, 2, 2, and so on until you hit 199. So this is gonna go like until 199 and do the same thing for each item. And the number here is gonna like vary. So here having I below is like having the same item ID. Like the item ID is gonna be I. You have to understand that. I is gonna be the item ID. Then, because this is the model, we set the model. Now I don't know. We're not gonna have any color. Like we're not gonna mess with colors for the entity. So solid, we want to set this solid to 2. I think. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's a string. So 2. I think it doesn't matter if it's a string or not. I have no idea. What else am I missing? Render mode. No, wait a minute. I'm gonna check if I'm missing something. And nope, I'm not. So yeah, let's remove that space. And since this is a boolean, here we want to return true. True. And we want to say else, return false. Maybe you're saying, okay, why the hell did you put it like all this code in the same line? Because we don't have more than one thing to do in this else statement. If we were to have like 2 things, like we wanted to print to chat, actually we're gonna print to the chat, so we're gonna have to remove that. My god. Like if we were to have 2 lines, this works for an if statement, else if, and else. Also for loops, whiles, and I don't know, any kind of statement, I believe it works. If you have more than 1 line, then you have to use the curly brackets or parentheses, I don't know the way you want to call this. And if you only have 1 line, then you can like remove these because they're not necessary at all. So here we want to print to the server, actually, not to the client. We want to say error failed, plugin failed at creating model for, oh my god, model for oh yeah, item ID, and then we'll paste model name. I like to like have all the information that I need to debug. It's very like useful. So I'm going to teach you how to debug, actually, if you don't know how to. What I'm saying here is I want to print to the server that we have an error for the item ID, and then we want to add the item ID, right? Because this is an integer and I wrote item ID here, so item ID follows that. Then I'm saying I'm gonna print the item name, so the name of the item. I want them to know what's the item that is actually failing to create, and the name is stored at the position 0, and then the model name, which is stored at the position 2 here. So name and model. We're not gonna print the price because I really think that's not necessary at all. But yeah, that's how you debug in SourceMod. Or like, yeah, you have to do everything on the server, or even to the client if you really want to. But yeah, I think the client is not happy to know. Like he won't be. He doesn't care if the plugin failed because, I don't know, something went wrong, or whatnot. So here for the else statement, I want to like nothing, and here I want to say print to chat. Actually, reply to command. This is not a command, but yeah, you get the point. You know what this does if you actually watched the previous tutorials. Client, comma, you've spawned a, and now we want to say oh my god, stupid keyboard. Yeah, it's gonna say you've spawned a, and the prop name, and for, and then the price here. So if you, and this is gonna be a string, right? It is this, how like we are having a number for the price, but this is a string, so I have to put %s there instead of %d. Now I want to actually copy and paste here because I really don't want to type the whole stuff over and over. So then for the name it's gonna be 0, and then for the price it's gonna be 1, slot 0, and then here, yeah, we have to do the string to int, like in both of the places. Maybe you're wondering, okay, like can I do that here? Yeah, but I actually added the bool to show you how boolean function works. That's what we are returning true here, and if we actually returned false, then that would never show up. Simple, right? Sorry about that. What else? I'm actually running out of time, so I'm gonna cut this one here, and I don't know, please rate the video up if you're liking this plugin that we're making here. It's kind of confusing, I know, but then if you watch this over and over again, you're gonna understand what's going on. Like you're not gonna get it like the first time you watch the tutorial and say, oh yeah, this is so easy. Maybe you do actually. There are people that actually understand things easily, and people that don't. But yeah, you have to be patient for this. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Again, please rate the video up, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.